Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday, hump day. It's freaking beautiful out. It's beautiful eating it because Bobby is here. He's the sun that makes everyone's day rise and their pants are tight, I think. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, what's so good about it, Pat? You ever have
That
one of
you're
those
here with
mornings?
me and I'm here with you.
You ever have one of those mornings where you just wake up and you feel like someone stabbed you in the eye and you don't know what happened, but you just
Oh,
now
no.
live like you can't see out of one eye in constant pain? Then you get to the gas station and the Muslim guy who's usually your homie is in a bad mood for some reason, and then you find out it's that this black woman's been yelling at him because now you have to wait in line while she continues to yell. And then you go, "Hey, shut the fuck up! Some of us are just trying to get some fucking donuts." And she calls you a racist, and you go, "I'm not a racist. I'm just hungry."
Yeah.
One of
I've
those
never
days.
had that day, but I haven't had one of those
Well, then you know
very
what, Pat? You
specific
should
days.
go to church and thank God you haven't had one of those days.
It sounds like you were in a Snickers commercial.
But I
She's like,
wasn't the bad
motherfucker.
guy.
Yeah,
I,
motherfucker, have a Snickers.
as you can see, I take my stuff out on the objects around me, not the people.
We can't really because you have a blurred background, so it doesn't
No,
look like you
no,
did
no, no.
anything
As
crazy.
as you could see.
Oh, I can see. I thought maybe
Well,
the
yeah, but in the
folks.
pre-show when I was just slamming the table, trying to teach it to
Yeah,
move.
that was the best because every morning when we get on a couple minutes before, I look to see if if your sound works, my sound works, whatever. We usually was like real quick or whatever, but I didn't have to. I put the headphones in as I hear motherfucker, and I'm like, oh, it's working good. That was my
Yeah,
first
it's
thought. I was like,
crystal
nice.
fucking clear.
It was a good freaking time there. But yeah, no, I woke up happy. I went out on the porch, had a cup of coffee, set this up. I but donuts would be nice, so I guess there's a fair trade off. I don't have any donuts, so maybe you're winning.
Eh. But what is a
Are they
donut
good
really
donuts?
worth? No, because you got to deal with all the guilt then.
Guilt donut?
Yeah, because you're like, I know I shouldn't be eating this. Healthy people don't eat donuts for breakfast. It's-
Yeah, but winners fucking do, Bobby.
yeah, that's what I like to say. Winners do. Fat winners. Fat
Fat
winners who
winners.
nobody wants to fuck.
Well, then I guess you mean men because fat women can get fucked all the time. I think they shouldn't. I think they should get fucked, like in the saying, like go fuck yourself. But a lot of people disagree with me, especially in the last 10 years. Fatties rule the world.
Who run the world? Tubbies. Who run the world? Tubbies.
Tubbies. Yeah. If you're a big fat piece of shit, like people deny that the earth is round, but no one denies that people should be round. You know what I mean? That's what they're saying all the time. That's a new t shirt.
That is a new T-shirt. I will say though, I did at my show, as we pointed out last night, point out that the fat bitch should be in therapy. So I have been known to.
Yes.
Uh,
Just so
uh,
people know, last night you missed it. POS page on the Patreon. Go check it out. Fun episode.
yeah, very fun episode. But no, I've even been made. Anyway, I see your point. I think you've even
Can
gone a
we have an
bit too
Earth?
far to get
Can
the
we have an Earth
message home.
Day and then the next day have a Girth Day?
Oh, I got a real girthy cock. That'd be my holiday.
Then you can celebrate. I think we should do it, but we should have a. We should have. It's coming up. I think it's in the end of April. I think Earth Day's then.
Which is kind of
Might
weird
be.
because nobody likes April, right?
Oh,
Like
she has a
May's,
big forehead.
and she's a fatty.
No, she's thin as shit, isn't she?
Oh, I wouldn't know because she hasn't been on in a while. You drove her out of the radio business.
I don't think it was me, but I did hear that she's no longer on. Boo, 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 boo. Child molester in the morning, Minnesota. Steel toe, fucking homo. Bow, 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 bow.
That is where they're based out of, isn't it?
Can we send her a link?
Yeah, dude. I bet she'd join and be like, "Oh, this is fun."
Yeah. What's up, lady? Just put the camera on your forehead. We don't need to see the rest of you. Just show it. Break out that forehead, lady. Break it out
Wait,
slow.
we just do coke and make things up. I'll fit right in.
We just do coke to make things up. Then we touch your little butt. That's our theme song. But Girth Day, I think we could do well. I think that'd be a fun day. We sell them. We start off with triple XL. We don't go any smaller.
Triple XL T-shirts.
Anything, pants, T-shirts, headbands, whatever you need.
Okay.
Everything's girthy. Condoms. It's all girth.
So here's the thing. They came out with these new condoms that really irritate me, that are designed both length and girth.
Okay.
Have you heard about those?
No,
'Cause
I don't use those things.
As a girthy individual, it used to be real great to go in and be like, yep, I need the magnums. Now, sure, did it look like I could have done the thing you used to do with tube socks where you'd roll it down and then back up to make it look like you had ankle socks because your parents can afford it? Yeah, I had that much length, but I was able to buy magnums and they stayed on comfortably. Now I got to go buy 9 inches wide by 4 inches long.
And that's your early morning Bobby penis fun fact. The more you know.
Yeah, did we lose everybody yet?
We didn't have anybody yet, so that was fair.
Oh, no.
Because if we had people, V'd be like, my penis is also girthy, Bobby. Let's high five.
Bet you, Gurney. Yeah, we don't need to speculate about our fans' cocks.
We don't need to even talk about ours.
That's where you and I differ. That's where you and I split paths.
That's why this show works, because we don't always have the same vision, but we at the end see penis eye to penis eye. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and it's going to end up racist somehow.
Blacks. It's how it works sometimes. No update is, I guess, a good update for Charlotte the Stingray. Still nothing. They haven't even put an update since Saturday now, and it's Wednesday. But that update was just like, hey, the barbs on its tail fell off, and that's a good thing. So when you grow new barbs, that means you're healthy. So obviously it's healthy, but no babies. Ha ha ha. Please keep supporting us. Pay our bills. We didn't get our tax check back yet. Okay, please help us. We are Echo. We lied about a pregnant stingray. Ah.
Yeah, who would have thought that horse baby came before the fucking stingray, baby?
Fucking horse baby.
What's the gestation period? Does anybody know? I know it's different because they're having a clone
9
of
months.
itself or whatever. That's for everything?
Oh, I thought you were still talking about the horse baby.
No, I meant the fucking stingray.
I'm like, just because she's ugly, she doesn't have a different timetable.
Yeah, I was wondering about the pups. Isn't that what they're called? Like, how long does it take to have one of these things? I could have grown one in the lab.
Yeah. I think it takes about they said if they cloned it, it'd be like right away, I think. Once you got your clone shit together. If you're going from scratch, or you buying clone shit, you ordering stuff on Amazon, or you're setting up your clone shit kit, then it's probably 2 weeks. But if you already got your clone shit at home, it's probably like a day.
No. A lot of clones still have to be, like, if you're genetically a clone, which is like they take 100% of the same DNA and inject it, you would still have to go through the birth process. Like, it wouldn't be expedited.
Oh, Bobby, I'm not saying I know anything. I was just lying.
Oh, you're like April from Steel Tail in the Morning.
My forehead's small. It's a lie.
You're much, much smaller. Yeah, you couldn't do that impression.
All right. So we talked about ugly and fats. You want to talk about pretties?
Sure.
Hollywood producer Carol Baum slams Sydney Sweeney. She isn't pretty and can't act, the woman said.
Oh, when you
Anyone
said slam,
but
I thought
her.
you meant sexually. I was like, hell yeah.
Well, I just
Slam
can't
Sydney
offer that to you.
Sweeney.
I would like to give you, a nice morning donut, if you will, but I don't know how to ship that to you. But
No. When you
anyone
said
but her.
that this Hollywood hot chick slammed Sydney Sweeney, I was like, yeah, I'd slam. Like, I thought they were making lesbian love.
Sydney Sweeney's the woman that slammed her isn't hot. She's a gross producer lady. Anyone but her. Top Hollywood producer Carol Baum, who is behind films like Father of the Bride, and then Father of the Bride 2. And
3. Return of the Father of the Bride.
Yeah. claims that Hollywood it girl isn't pretty and can't act. During a recent screening of this woman's 1988 movie Dead Ringers. So obviously nobody was showing up to Dead Ringers. So this lady was like, "What if I just talk about the famous person?" She goes, "I don't get Sydney Sweeney. I just don't get it." Mom came to the realization after she watched Sweeney's latest film, Anyone But You, on an airplane. I wanted to know who she is, why everyone's talking about her. And she's
Her
like,
tits.
she's like, she also described the rom-com as unwatchable. Baum further revealed that her students at the University of Southern California School of Cinematic Arts couldn't give a satisfactory answer why the 26-year-old star is so sought after either, which is funny because Bobby just did within 2 seconds. I said to my class,
I could just graduated from USC.
okay, please, we just reviewed Sydney Sweeney's latest movie and we just watched Euphoria. Can anyone please tell me quickly why she's famous? Bobby?
I'd say the tits, ma'am.
Thank you. Class over. We can all go home now.
I'm like the
We did
fucking
it.
janitor. The questions on the board, why is Sydney Sweeney famous? And I'm the janitor cleaning up. I just walk by and write tits. They're like, who solved this? We have to find this genius.
Bobby Tamburo in Good Tits Hunting. It's like he's just looking for good tits. And he goes,
How you like them titties?
How you like them? I'm a cowboy, baby. That music comes on. You're like, wait, what? Why is that even on? I said to my class, explain this girl to me. She's not pretty. She can't act. Why is she so hot? She recalled. Nobody had an answer. Maybe they didn't have an answer because, like, you're just being a fucking mean-ass woman. Like, why
Hey,
is your
Miss
class
Teach, why
doing
you
that?
hating?
Despite her disinterest in Sweeney, Baum conceded she's not sure if she would turn down the opportunity to produce a movie with her in it because it probably means it would get greenlit. You know what? I guess the lady's honest. She goes, "Fuck that bitch. I think she's gross and I think she stinks. But shit, if I could use her for stuff, I'm in." Like, you really are a producer in Hollywood. And by the way, didn't they just show like 5 pictures of Sydney Sweeney being like her prettiest that she possibly could be? I don't know much about her acting. I haven't really watched anything besides like Saturday Night Live and like maybe a sketch or something in it. You can't say the lady's not pretty. Like, there's no possible that's not even your type. That's just a pretty person. We all want to get the movie made, and who walks away from a green light? Nobody. Your job is to get the movie made. Sweeney's rep did not immediately respond to Page 6 request for comment. Sweeney skyrocketed to fame when she was in Euphoria. She won an Emmy she had an Emmy nomination in 2022 for Euphoria. She also landed an Emmy nomination in White Lotus. So for a lady who can't act, she did get 2, Emmy nominations. Anyone But You was just one of the 3 major films that starred Sweeney between December 23rd and March 1st. Had mixed reviews. Despite the lukewarm critics, it ended up ruling the box office, raking in more than $200 million worldwide and becoming the highest grossing R-rated romantic comedy since Bridget Jones's Baby. I didn't know that was a high grossing.
I hate this reporter. I was back on her side for a minute, but the fact that that's her beacon of comparison, Jesus Christ.
Well, no, she didn't compare it. They're just saying that's the last big grossing romantic comedy was Bridget Jones's Baby. Not even The
What
Diary.
about Bridesmaids?
Bridesmaids came out before 2016.
This Bridget Jones' Baby came out after 2016?
Yeah, 2016 came out. Bridget Jones's Diary came out earlier. Bridget Jones's Baby is the later one.
Oh, okay. All right. That's why I was confused.
In her diary,
Maybe
she
we
wrote,
should
"I hope
stop
Hugh
letting
Grant
movies.
comes in me." And then,
Then he did.
then it happened.
Now there's a baby. And you know what, Charlotte? This bitch had her baby.
Yeah,
didn't make us talk about it for 6 fucking months. Sure, it was 19 years later.
Yeah, Renee Zellweger's a better starfish than you, whatever the fuck you are. Stingray, whatever the fuck. The film made waves months before its arrival as rumors of an affair between Sweeney. I don't care about that. They're just trashing this Sydney Sweeney. However, the Handmaid's Tale actress addressed the gossip when she hosted Saturday Night Live in March. That's obviously not true. Me and my found which is a dumb joke. Whose piece of shit the story? Is it the producer lady, Carol Baum, for just talking shit for no reason? They weren't even talking about it. She was literally at the screening of some 1988 fucking movie I never heard of, Dead Ringers. It might be a great movie, I'm just saying. You're at you're at a re-release screening of your movie, and then you start shitting on Sydney Sweeney for no reason, and saying the only reason why you'd work with her is because it would get a project done, but you think she stinks or whatever. Is it her? Is it the class for not going like, you know what? I mean, college kids nowadays are canceling everyone. Someone goes up there and is like, hey, there's, in the beginning there was a man and a woman. And they're like, no, there was like 38 genders and they're all named Steve. And they're all yelling and they're getting people canceled left and right. And they don't give a shit. But when this lady says some horse shit like Sydney Sweeney stinks, right? Someone else elaborate. They just quiet. They just let her say things, which is mean. Is it Sydney Sweeney for not fucking going off and torching? I mean, Sydney Sweeney is very attractive, but I know she's probably taking the high road. But when a pretty bitch gets called ugly by an ugly bitch, that's supposed to be fighting word. That's supposed to be like, seriously, your husband probably thinks of me while sleeping with you. Good night. You know what I mean? Also, I have a bunch of Emmy nominations. Go fuck yourself. What do you have? Remember Dead Ringers? No, no one does. You brought it back. Shut up. You're a dead ringer for a retard. How about that? That's what you should have said. Isn't the New York Post for writing this? Usually I'm mad at them, but you know what? I like this. They don't usually go lady on lady crime, and I'm kind of liking the cattiness that they're throwing at us this morning. I'm appreciating that. Makes me feel like the world's coming back to normal. You know what I mean? Good morning,
100%.
V, by the way. Yeah, college kids are degenerates. But who's the piece of shit in the story? Bobby, go ahead.
So, unfortunately, Pat, it's no one you mentioned. And it's not me for just now waking up. It's... Because if you think about it, right? College kids, yes, they do like to start shit, but they also like to just graduate. And the only thing worse than, a woke college student trying to send a message is a professor who feels like they missed their era to be the young youth, so now they're pushing this youth for... Like, this woman's crazier than the college students. She teaches there. She hasn't done anything since Dead Ringers. So it's not the students for not speaking up. It's not this woman. That's what you're supposed to do. When you're almost made it, you talk shit about the people who did. Like, that's
almost
your role.
made it.
Sometimes...
She made father of the bride and then also father of the bride.
Right. I guess my point would be, like, once your time has come,
right,
like, and other people are shining, perhaps you're looking at the young next class coming up through and getting a little jealous about all the potential they have, like Sydney Sweeney's of the world. So it's not her. It's not Sydney Sweeney. Why does she know what this fat cow said? She's busy, like you said, being hot. You know how much work it takes to be a hot chick? You gotta, like, wake up, do exercise, put on all the creams and shit.
Mad makeup, drink stupid eyebrow shit.
In Sydney's case, get knocked up, then get an abortion to keep your boobs that big. All that stuff it takes to be a hot chick. So it's not her. For me, it's...
Every day she has to wake up and have an abortion?
No, like, it's a cycle thing.
Oh.
Once the boob... Because the boobs come first, then the...
Then comes marriage, then comes baby.
Then the weight gain.
Carriage.
Well, no, she gets rid of the baby before the baby carriage.
But you did say every morning they have to do these things, and I was like, holy shit, they have to have an abortion every morning.
Sydney wakes up in the morning, gets an abortion.
Guess who doesn't wake up every morning? That baby.
Not that kid, yeah. So my question
her body, her choice.
Right, not that baby's, though. What if the baby's choice was to live?
A baby is a baby when it's like its fingernails on its face or something. I don't know. I read a billboard.
Don't ask Arizona when it's a baby. All I know is it's a real hot subject right now down there. They acted a law from like the 1700s. And I went up on stage and a woman didn't like my chinks joke. And I just went, what, you didn't like that one? That's your line? And she was like, no, I just didn't get it. Can you explain it? And then I explained it and was like, just please, whatever you do, don't go home and write, the comedian on stage had an abortion, because then I'll get arrested in this shitty state. But for me, the piece of shit is, where are the simps of Hollywood? Where are the Jay Moores of the world? What's that dude from Family Guy? Not Seth, the other one who made Robot Chicken. That looks like a real weasel.
Oh, I can't remember his name, but I know you're talking about, yeah.
Like, where are these guys who wouldn't normally get pussy in Hollywood? Come out and start swinging for Sydney. That's who should be shitting on the fat chicks. Like, there should be a whole Family Guy where Meg becomes a professor at USC and then takes shots at Sydney Sweeney. That's like, we need the Hollywood simps, not the pimps. The simps.
Yeah, we need David Spade and Pauly Shore to come back out of retirement.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I couldn't think of a good example.
Those are the best.
Mason Reese.
Great.
Where is
Yeah,
Mason
yeah.
Reese to come out and be like, "You look like me, but bigger, you stupid bitch. Leave the hot one alone."
Yeah. I don't I don't get this at all. You would think because I mean, all jokes aside for a second, that movie made $200 million. Marvel, Disney, all this shit's been having so many problems trying to just force a woman into a lead. People like this girl. That's what the it factor is. It's not always the best acting or whatever. They learn it because they get thrown into stuff. But obviously, people like her. They go watch her stuff. I watched her on Saturday Night Live for a couple minutes. I didn't hate her at all. I mean, there was nothing about her. I was like, just on there going like, oh, this shit bitch seems this or that, whatever. She just seemed like somebody who was an actress. Like, it's listen, like what's her name, Reese Witherspoon, or any of those people. They weren't like the pretty. Sydney Sweeney's way prettier than Reese Witherspoon. She had a goofy little jaw and everything, and you didn't know why you liked her and people like that, but you watched it and you went, shit, I want to see shit she's in. It feels like it's gonna be a good time, and I'm gonna enjoy myself. And that's what this lady's doing. And she made $200 million on a rom com nowadays in a movie theater. Movies aren't doing well in movies. If you're a producer at all and you're talking about how this girl stinks, say goodbye to your career. Because if I'm running someplace, I'm like, I don't want Carol Baum in my shit. She's gonna ruin. If she's gonna talk shit about Sydney Sweeney, who else is she gonna talk about? You know, what's she say next? Adam Driver's not like weirdly, uniquely handsome. He is uniquely. He looks like older Finn Wolfhard, whatever the fuck his name is. He's that goofy looking guy, and you're gonna say no? What does she
I
want?
hope.
Gerard Depardieu and shit?
I hope she keeps leaning into the shit talking and the hatred and eventually ends up with, "Can someone up please write on the board what April from Steel Toe brought to the show?"
Yes. I can't wait till she's like nothing. Her next movie is called Nothing But Buscemi, and it's just Steve Buscemi playing a man and a
Where
woman. Like,
is Steve Buscemi? Again, another Hollywood freak who should be simping for Sydney Sweeney. When did the rules change, Pat? It used to be we did what hot people wanted. Now
yeah.
they're under.
Well, we
Now
still
we're
are.
they're now you're allowed to attack them. Not in my world. Let me see this
We
bitch
we
on the
still.
streets.
I think we still are, but Hollywood became the internet. So like, I think Hollywood doesn't know what to do anymore because they're so afraid. I think Hollywood's so afraid to say women are attractive now because of all the Weinstein shit. They're like, go the other way. Just endorse uglies. Just endorse fatties. But to say the girl, you don't get it, that's crazy. Like, listen, right, I'm sure, right? Okay, name a comedian that you know, as a super popular comedian who's not that you hate their personality, but just you don't like their stand up comedy. It's not your cup of tea. But someone that's super popular.
I'm trying to think. What's that guy's name? Brendan Schwab.
Okay, I mean that's a weird example because he's really popular from like other reasons, but still,
Oh, I thought he was
know what you're
hot.
saying.
I thought he was hot. That's what I was going for.
No. Yeah, you're right. Well, I was trying to get away from that and go to a different thing. Just saying that he is a handsome devil. But you know what I'm saying? Like with me, it's Burt Kreischer. I don't find him funny, but I get why people like Burt Kreischer. I would never sit there and say I don't get it. He doesn't have an it. He obviously has an it factor. Yeah, okay, maybe the machine didn't do great numbers, but every podcast he's on, everything is a guest on something. Every time he goes anywhere, people want to see him. He's a polarizing figure, and I get why. It's not my cup of tea, but I fucking get it. Same thing with Sydney Sweeney. This woman should just be like, hey, I don't. Maybe she's not my cup of tea, but I get it. How would you not get it? Schwab? I don't get at all because he's not talented. He's not likable. He was just Rogan's friend and Rogan forced. So that was like a crazier example. But I know what you're saying. You were just going for hot dudes.
Well, also, it does kind of fit though, because it's like we get
Morning, Harry.
that is you did kind of nail the bird thing, but it's the same idea as Sydney. Even if she doesn't have the traditional acting talent, she has other extracurriculars that put her in a position of fame. Right? Kind of like Schwab. Even if he's, like you said, nobody really finds his comedy good or entertaining, he had the Rogan factor. He used to get punched in the head for a little. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same idea that some people get passes, and it doesn't make your work any less good or anything like that. You just need to keep working. You know what I mean?
I'm not
You're
saying
tall.
just right. The hell,
I'm
that's all I got.
5'6". I'm a huge basketball fan. Like my life, I knew if I wanted to play basketball, I would have to find non-traditional pathways into the game. Did you freeze or did I freeze?
No, I froze. Unfortunately, it'll kick back out. It's been doing that, so whatever, we'll be fine. The I don't I don't really understand. Okay, so like example, I guess this girl was in Euphoria. I didn't watch Euphoria, but I do know that Zendaya, her whole career, yeah, she started as a kid actress, but her whole career really kicked off from Euphoria. That's what everyone started saying. Real great actress, this and that, whatever, super beautiful, like humble, all these things. So no one talks shit about her. She also has that same star power. That show alone made two females that can gross a ton of movie in movie theaters. You know what I mean? Like I put that bitch in Dune 2 and Dune, the prequel to Dune 2. You know what I mean? So it's like, so you got to put them in good stuff. So
Ooh,
I don't
Dane Cook.
understand.
That would be my answer
Okay.
based off of Dune. Because he used to do that joke about, what is it, Dune up in my glass when I'm making Nesquik?
But you know what? Dane Cook for real. I know that's yes, that joke as well. But Dane Cook for real is not a lot of people's cup of tea. But when he came out at that time and became huge, man, did I get it. Good looking, looked different than all other comedians, had a different style at the time. You know what I mean? Like he really was like nobody was really doing that kind of like crazy energy on stage at that level. No one was really connecting with younger audiences in that way. I got the groundswell. I understood it. Once again, it wasn't for me. The first time I saw a Comedy Central special of his, I was like, this is kind of funny and crazy. But then I saw like that vicious circle thing, and I'm like, I understand why people are laughing. I get why this place is sold out. I just wouldn't be one of those people to buy a ticket. You know, I think Sydney Sweeney seems really likable and great. I wouldn't go see that rom com. I didn't watch Euphoria. I didn't watch him. These movies aren't for me, but man, when I see her, I go, wow, I probably would stop and watch a show for a second. Because she's not just like she's not like slutty. She's very pretty on the eye, and she just looks welcoming. You know what I mean? Like not like this thing you wouldn't be. Yeah, I'm sure in real life you're intimidated by her, but when you watch her on TV, you're not intimidated. I think Carol Baum is just mad. She looks like the fucking. You ever see the movie The Incredibles, the Pixar movie? She looks like the lady who makes the costumes. That's what Carol Baum looks like. It's just
No
ugly
capes.
bitch.
No
Yeah,
capes on
there's
my
no capes.
costume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ugly bitches, no capes.
You know
Yes,
what?
Harry. Harry's right. Matt Rife, huge example.
Perfect
I
example
get it.
there.
Man, do I get it. And I think we'll see Matt being a lead in rom. I guarantee you in 2 years, Matt Rife and Sydney Sweeney are on some project together. Just handsomes, being the lead.
Celebrity rehab.
Yeah, oh, possibly that too. And I get it. And I get why.
You know what? I forgot Sydney Sweeney was in Euphoria. She's my piece of shit now for sexualizing high schoolers.
We've been sexualizing high schoolers since the 60s.
Yeah.
Remember Fast Times at Richmond High? Girl comes
The
out
older
of the
they
pool,
get, the
she's
younger
supposed
they
to be
stay
in
the
high
same.
school.
Yeah.
No, that's Days of Confused. But
No.
but that movie, at least that movie, that didn't really sexualize. It kind of just showed like Days of Confused actually just showed like the lifestyle of the time. They didn't really sexualize women. Fast Times, the big famous scene is when that chick comes out of the pool. Now let's remember, she's supposed to be in high school. They're like,
Yeah. I mean, she's clearly not, but
no, but in the script, we're watching a kid.
Hollywood, it turns out, might not be a good place.
And Sydney Sweeney, I think you might be onto something. Sydney Sweeney's also doing something where R-rated rom-com. When is that happening anymore? She's moving. She's making things that don't work.
That is a good point. Maybe Sydney Sweeney's boobs are the answer to all the world's problems. Maybe that could solve the Middle East.
See, I don't think it's just boob. You are right. Everyone talks about her boobs, but she's also got a nice face. Like she's like inviting. She's not just gross with tits.
That's true. She's not Pam Anderson.
Pam Anderson, when she was on Home Improvement, was beautiful. Like, but I mean, I get it. You had to do the world wanted to see her. She had to become more and more. but she was
Before.
insane looking. Like that girl, when you saw her, I remember being younger and going, "That's not even a human you could be around." You know what I mean? That's just a beautiful freaking person. But then life and everything wears on you. Tommy Lee starts throating you, and you change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's not forget she was doing coke nonstop with Tim Allen. The man got caught with what was it, 20 kilos? Yeah, exactly. That's the noise you make after you do too much coke. Yeah.
He's gacking. Hey, Wilson. There's no Wilson. Wilson's not there. He's just seeing
Wilson's
shit
never been there. They're just like, all right, if he's going to keep talking to nobody, we got to go back and post and put a face on that fence.
I'm going to fuck that hot piece of ass. Pamela Anderson? Nope. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Oh, no. Someone stopped Tim Allen.
Somebody stopped him.
That's the sequel.
This is not improving the home at all. It's destroying the household.
No one's gonna fuck that older blonde one. Jonathan Taylor Thomas is the ass we need. I remember when one episode when Jonathan Taylor Thomas was becoming like Mr. Tiger Beat and Famous Little Boy, so all the episodes stopped being about Tim just being a retard, and it was like Jonathan Taylor Thomas gets an earring. Also, Tim drills his own foot or whatever. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
what is this show?
Oh god, it was a weird time for television.
Sitcoms were fucking stupid then. All right, you got something?
Yeah, I may have what may be one of the best POS stories I've ever found. Have you been following what's going on in Mississippi right now?
I know nothing of Mississippi.
So, in the heart of Mississippi, where the tea is sweet and the gossip is spicy, Pastor Bobby Ray Simmons of the Fire and Brimstone Baptist Church dropped a theological bombshell that's got everyone Sunday be at best in a twist. During a sermon that was supposed to be about the virtues of modesty, Pastor Simmons took a sharp left turn into uncharted territory. He proclaimed with the fire of 1,000 suns that Adam, the Bible's original frontman, was actually the first transgender person. Yes, nice. You heard that right. Adam and Eve, or Adam is Eve. According to Pastor Simmons, the whole rib story we've been fed since Sunday school is a bigger mix-up than Aunt Betty's potluck casserole. He claims that the rib was a mistranslation from the original Hebrew, suggesting it was actually Adam's penis bone. That's right, folks. Pastor Simmons alleges that Adam and Eve were the same person, and that's the real reason they got the boot from Eden, because the big guy upstairs isn't a fan of the trans community.
Oh my God, people are so dumb. Holy shit. They didn't think on trans people when they wrote the Bible, you fucking doofus.
As you can imagine, this revelation has caused quite the stir, turning the pews into a hotbed of whispered prayers and not so Christian-like curses.
Oh,
the congregation was left gobsmacked, with some members walking out mid-sermon clutching their pearls and their King James Bibles. Social media has been ablaze with the Adam's trans trendsetter trending faster than you can say Genesis. Oh.
Jesus. Phil Collins?
The backlash has been, well, biblical. Other pastors in the area have called for Pastor Simmons' resignation, labeling his sermon as heretical, blasphemous, and a few other choice words that would make a sailor blush. Meanwhile, the LGBTQ plus community has found an unlikely hero in Pastor Simmons.
I hope this isn't the made-up one.
Even though they said that's why he got kicked out of heaven, because God hates trans. Pat, who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Pastor Bobby Ray Simmons for the hottest take I've ever heard about the Bible?
It's not.
Is it the congregation? Because, he didn't just, wasn't like a normal preacher and then one day was like, hey, you know what? Adam's a tranny. Like, there were signs along the way. Or is it the LGBTQ plus community for thinking this guy's an ally when he's just trying to justify the Christian hatred of trans people? Pat, we'll kick it to you first.
Well, it's not our boy Bobby Ray Simmons. It's not. That is, listen, you're an evangelical speaker. You're someone trying to get people in the door. That's how you get people in the door. And that's also how you find out if people are really going to donate. Because now what's going to happen is the backlash. When you're a speaker like that, and then people are against your mission, you have to say, They want to stop the word of God. I have been told this and that, whatever. So you need to give us more money so we can have lawyers defend everything I'm dealing with right now. And in reality, he's not getting in any trouble, but he's just getting more money because he's saying crazy shit. And think about it, Bobby. We've all seen comedians do this. They go on stage and they say something crazy and wild by mistake, like a quick crowd work thing or something nuts. And it's the people in the audience are like, yeah, you're like a small part of it. And then you're like, you go farther and farther. Like you start shitting on a drunk or something, but then you don't really notice the rest of the audience saying, hey, this is uncomfortable. Go back to your act. That comic is just so psyched that those 8 people are like, fuck yeah, that he just keeps doing it. And he doesn't care about anything around you. And you just keep going for more wild shit. This guy got a reaction. He got excited. Good morning, Kish. And he gets all crazy, whatever. And he says these things. Now, what I want to know is who's next? Who's next in the Mississippi church towns that's going to even come even more wild than this? Did you know Noah was a cuck and he used to watch whales fuck? Did you know he would go inside and watch it get fucked by other whales because he liked to watch sex from the inside. Now he was the first incel, Noah. Like, or like
Jonah.
Jonah, yeah, whichever one liked to watch whales fuck, I forget. But then again, Jonah and Noah might have worked together because he's like, well, you can get me the whales, right? You get me the ocean shit, Jonah, and you hook me up because I'm busy getting giraffes to fuck.
Who am I? Some bitch in Henderson, North Carolina? I'm not building a shitty wannabe aquarium on my boat. I'm not converting the kitchen sink into an aquarium and then claiming that God impregnated a stingray. I'm not some stupid
I'm
dumb broad from Henderson.
Fuck the old-fashioned way.
Like God intended.
It's not the LGBTQ community because you know what? Here that if they can't, they're very good at like just going with who's ever got their back in certain ways or doing things. And so if they kind of turn and go, well, they real seriously, like they're very good at whoever's got our back right now, we're with you, and then they turn their back on them again anyway. If someone religious is going to do this, they're very smart to go there because what do they need? What do they really need to get people to have a backing to them? Is someone who can speak and build, and who can do that. So an evangelical speaker, a religious person, a cult-like figure who can get in front of that and say all these things. Now, in reality, what's happening? The church isn't doing well. So what does this guy do? He didn't say that because I'd say wild. He did that he's like, shit, like, churches started letting gay people get married, not because they had an open heart and all of a sudden they have a different view on life. Nobody was getting married. Straight people are saying, fuck it, we're not gonna, or they're getting divorced, or they're not getting married in churches as much as they used to be. So if you open it up to the gays who wanted to get married, now you can make money off weddings. You start opening the business when you can. People aren't coming to church as much anymore. So what do you do? Who's all fired up? Who's somebody who's on board with a mission and a message? LGBTQ. So you yell out wild shit to them and they'll come out. That guy wants to walk out one day. Think he's wearing a weird dress anyway. He wants everyone else to be men in weird dresses. And they're all there together just going. That's kind of who it's built for right now anyway. Is there people that are lost and feel like the world's against them? White people don't have that anymore. We're fine. Yeah, once in a while they say to us, oh, you're a little bit mean. We're like, all right, we'll send you back. It doesn't matter. Dude, for him to say the rib is pulled out and that was like a penis, brilliant. Like he sat there. I mean, he was obviously on mushrooms or something, but he looked at the thing and said, how can I fucking make this relevant to today? And then boom, he did 2 options. You either talk about Adam being trans or you put Sydney Sweeney in the Bible. But he probably couldn't afford Sydney Sweeney, so he went trans. He is not the piece of shit. The piece of shit is anyone who's not like, this is just as believable as everything else in the Bible. Because the Bible has crazy shit in it. So anyone who's like, oh my God, that's not in the Bible. There's a lot of wild shit in the Bible. If you can believe a guy walked on water, you can believe there was the first trans a long time ago. You know what I mean? So it's anyone who's against this guy for just fucking spitting fire.
I like that you went with walking on water, not your boy Noah, where there had to be a flood because the angels came down and kept fucking humans and made too many giants. I was like, what the fuck? You can't fuck my creatures.
No, do not fuck my creatures. That's actually something my dad would say because he had a lot of daughters. And he'd like, hey, get out of here. Don't fuck my creatures. Get off my lawn. Who's a piece of shit, Bobby?
Honestly, I think it's probably the LGBTQ plus community. Like, how did you let this fire and brimstone pastor be the first one to make this claim. You know what I mean? Like, if you're like, all I do is try to insert my people into history. You know, everybody knows the Italians were basically the Romans.
Basically. But at the same time, I think the LGBTQ is so busy usually just saying religion is fucking wrong, that they didn't think about, can we flip it? And then sometimes you need someone from the other team to be flipped, just like gay sex. Sometimes you need somebody who's not really on board to see the butthole light and go, oh, what about this? And they're like, that's why we need you straights.
Good point. Good point. I thought you were going to say the trans people were so busy doing anything for attention that they couldn't stop and read the Bible, but both points work.
Yeah, they don't. There needs to be like a tranny Shark Tank, somewhere where people spitball new ideas and things like that, so they can come up, because they keep doing the same things. This is someone outside the box.
Or what if we just take a literal Shark Tank and we throw trannies in it?
I
That's
don't
our new
know
TV
if we can
show.
endorse that. We
call it
hi
Tranny Shark
everybody
Tank.
on Facebook. I went live on all this stuff. Hooray! Being trans is a religion. It is. You're believing that you are, like when Jesus believed he was the Son of God. They're believing they're not what they were supposed to be. Like, that is religious to think that there's more besides just what your genetic makeup is. That for you to be, there's nothing more religious than to be trans or be non-binary, because you're literally saying that there's a soul, there's something inside you that controls more than what you just really are. Like, you're not just an animal that was born a certain way and has to be that thing. You're like, no, something inside me wants to have some sweet, sweet cock. That's why I have to wear this lady dress. Like, that's religious. You're believing in more. You're believing in spirituality.
The difference is Jesus kind of looked like the Son of God.
Did they know that back then, though?
Yeah.
Did they already have sweet God pics?
Remember when there was that thing where it was like him, Moses, and Elijah, and they all were like white and out in the sky, and the apostles were like, that was weird. Like, there were signs, whereas I'm just saying, like, most trans people I could point out and be like, you don't look like what you think you look like.
Bobby, can you explain the rest of the Bible to me in the way you just did that? Because I would watch it way more. You're like, remember when God and Moses and the other guy were like, yeah, that's how I talk. That's my talk.
We're all the same, but we're different in transubstantiation. You're like, this seems like a lot.
Do you remember when Sodom and Gomorrah was happening, and you'd walk in and everybody would be like, it's like, it was just a bunch of
Sodom and Gomorrah, as I call it, Chelsea, New York.
Oh, is there a lot of butt sex in Chelsea, New York?
I don't want to go to Chelsea.
Is that a song about butt sex?
It's a song by Elvis Costello.
You want a story about hypocritical people?
I think we just had one, but go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to keep leaning into that.
No, that was her hair tickle people. My bad.
Oh, yeah, you tickle your hair and your balls. That's what's happening there. Woman fired after company uses keystroke technology to monitor home from work or work from home. A major insurance company used keystroke technology on an employee's work laptop to test whether she was working her designated hours, and it ended terribly for her. The Fair Work Commission has rejected an unfair dismissal application brought on by this insurance group consultant, Susie Cheekho, which, by the way, great name, Cheekho, finding she was fired for a valid reason of misconduct. Now, okay, so they used the technology to notice that she wasn't doing her work at home. The kicker is, guess what her job is?
No idea.
Her job at the company is to install that technology and to see if other people are working at home or not.
Oh, no.
And by the way, I don't think that producer from the first story would like her either. This lady's like almost on Sydney Sweeney level of looks. It's a very attractive woman with a decent job. It's like, according to the commission's published findings, Chico is responsible for creating insurance documents, meeting regulatory timelines, and monitoring work from home compliance. Ironically, her work from home performance marked her end of her 18-year career with the company. Um, a month later, Chico claimed that the FWC, her employer, had a premeditated plan to remove her and targeted her due to her mental health issues. So she leaned into mental health once they realized she was just at home fucking faking it and shit. According to the online findings, Chico received a formal warning in November 2022 about her output. It was put on a performance improvement plan, and it was subject to a detailed review of cyber activity, which analyzed the number of times she physically pressed the keyboard on 49 working days from October to December. The review found she did not work her rostered hours for 44 days, started late on 47 days, finished early on 29 days, and performed 0 hours of work on 4 days. On the days she did log in, she had very low keystroke activity and recorded 0 strokes over 117 hours in October, 143 hours in November, and 60 hours in December. She averaged 54 strokes per hour over the duration of her surveillance, which showed she was not presenting her for work and performing work as required. In a formal meeting about the review, Chico said she did not believe for a minute the data was true, but showed no evidence that she'd been online and working when the report showed she hadn't. Sometimes the workload's a bit slow, but I have never not worked. Who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it the lady who fucking listen? I give her credit. That's ballsy. She's thinking I'm God. I'm bigger than you. I make the rules. I don't do the rules. Those are for you people. You know what I mean? You do your shit. I'll be doing my shit. Is it the people? Is it the her job for real going? You know what? Because you know what happened. What you know what happened? Somebody at that place, a higher up guy, got called out for not hitting the strokes enough times one day by her. And he was like, "Fuck that bitch." I wonder if she's doing it. And then they had to go around her back and do that with the technology she put in. And then went and checked and realized that bitch wasn't doing nothing. Is it that guy who I'm saying it's a guy too? There's no way. It's a very attractive blonde woman. Some fat guy who couldn't bang her is like, let's make sure she's not working. Is it that? Is it keystroke technology? Fuck you. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, maybe it's all we do. Maybe she's doing voice activated. Who fucking knows? But who cares? Is the job getting done? If they're not doing, if you tell someone they can work from home, and they do work from home, and when they're given assignments and they get them done, does it matter if they're fake working all day? Because all that means to me is that they don't even care if the work's getting done. As long as she was sitting there going, bah, bah, she could have her cat walk back and forth on the keyboard if she wanted to, and then that would be fucking, I'm doing my job. Or is it Australia? You know, what are we doing? Why are you still a country? Who's the piece of shit?
Oh, several. For starters, if you install the keystroke logger, you know there's a keystroke logger. So you should log some keystrokes. So for that reason, she's partially it. But the idea of you have to work 8 hours a day because that's what we tell you, even if you can accomplish everything that needs to be done in 4 hours, like in order to get paid, you have to sit here for the 8 hours. That's kind of dumb too. That's just exercising your power over people. I think V kind of hit it though. Keystrokes that's a very slippery slope. Pat, when you logged into Gmail today, did you have to enter a password?
I didn't log into Gmail today, but yeah, when I do, I have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have the password anymore. I have to just hit the side thing. But yeah, it's the same thing. I do log in a way. I say it's me. Hello.
Right, but any password you were to type in, the company now has access. Like, it knows, it doesn't just know were you hitting the keys. It knows the exact keys you were hitting. Like, it's a great hacking tool. It also leaves you very susceptible to being hacked if anybody can get access to your keystroke log program, right? If you're logging my keystrokes and Terry is another company, they want to know what we're doing inside ours. It doesn't take a lot to get into the program that stores all of my keystrokes on your computer. Typically, the security isn't super high around though. You know what I mean? So, like, really, it's just setting yourself up to be vulnerable. So, for me, the piece of shit's the company. If the bitch didn't need to work, pay her. She got her job done. It doesn't matter in how many hours. If Kobe Bryant needed to come in and just play the fourth quarter and the Lakers went 82-0, people wouldn't bitch about it.
Yeah, I agree, except for the fact that this lady doubled down and said they're lying and it's because of my mental health. So they broke out the fucking numbers. They were just going to let her go. They warned her and they could have just fired her because the bitch was literally fucking going. I get it. She didn't do the work at home. People work at home all the time. Don't let if you don't have that problem, don't let people work at home. Make them come in. I know Zoom changed everything and during COVID times, and people are like, oh, it's cheaper not having them come in sometimes. But if you're gonna not trust, and if you're going to let someone work at home, you're trusting that they are good at their job when you need them to do their job. You're actually being a better boss by going, hey, use your time as well you want to use it. Make sure you get your shit done when it has to get done. You don't have to work within these constrained hours of what you need because that's old school style. And now we think differently. This lady can probably get a lot of work done when it's not supposed to be hours at night. Who knows what she does? But once you're called out on it in November and they say, hey, we're noticing something, we're on probation a little bit, we're watching what you're doing, you don't just keep not doing it. Unless you want to get fired. So what she obviously did, instead of going, she's like, well, fuck, they want to make me work now? Well, I don't want to work. What if I just say I'm mentally ill? What if I just yell that out loud? And I'll say, like, they're firing me because I'm mentally ill. What are you mentally ill over? Not working? Because that's pretty cool. I know a lot of mentally ill people that don't work, and they're pretty pumped about that part. They're mad about all the other part. Like people make them work and shit like that. So once she doubled that, and they're like, dude, here's your numbers. You didn't work for 117 hours 1 month. It's like, all right, now you're like getting fun. They're not fudging those numbers. What would be the point? It's not that they're doing this so I could read an article in the New York Post. They did this at a workplace in Australia, and it got this woman so lazy in Australia that it made the news, the world news, that a pretty lady didn't work hard in Australia, which is fucking crazy. So because of that, she's a piece of shit. I would have normally said the company for like not letting it go, but once she doubled down and was like, fuck you, you're lying, then she's the piece of shit.
Yeah, I could see where you're coming from. I do think we got to give some blame on the company, too, though. Because, like, if you had an employee, right, who was completely fucking useless, like, never did their job as was, and then the pandemic happened, and you were like, okay, you can just work from home now. You never have to be at the office. And then people were like, things aren't getting done. And you're like, no, he's fine. He's been doing this since he was 15. He knows how to handle this. Like, just letting him work from home is going to make it even worse. They're not going to be up at night doing work on the server to get shows live streaming again. They're going to be playing pirate games and eating snacks.
Well, to be fair, they're not only playing pirate games, Bobby. They are also posting pictures of the pirate games on Instagram and saying, look at me, I'm playing pirate games. So they are helping support another business, the pirate game. Not their own business, but another business.
No.
So they they're working hard just for the wrong people, allegedly.
A plethora of times have let situations get so bad that talents walked away. Yeah. You don't want that.
Well, thank you, Harry, because I didn't think it was fair as an American to say that, but I'm happy that you could say that for us. We appreciate that. I can also say that about every other type of man and woman. They're all useless. Every person is useless in their own way. Bobby, you want to do a quick plug? I'm going to grab some coffee.
Yeah. I would like to tell you guys, this weekend, if you find yourself in the 717 area, you might be like, boy, I'm hungry to go see a comedy show. And I'd like to just tell you, the best, hottest show you could possibly see in the 717 would be this Saturday. Me and Earl David Reed, and perhaps Lennon Free, at the Allen Theater in Anvil. Go to the Allen Theater, spelled like the British.com, for tickets there. But they're moving quickly, and you might be like, well, oh no, if you're sold out, is that the only good show in town? No, there's a bunch. Check out Andrew Glessner and Coleman Green at the Comedy Zone if you're looking for like a real authentic comedy club experience. Again, if you're looking for a theater, come to me. Looking for a comedy club, Glessner and Coleman. If you're looking for like an old school bar show, kind of at a hotel type thing, go see Mike and Greg. All of those will be better than a Holiday Inn banquet room rented out. Check out all of those. Make sure you head over to the Patreon. That's where we found last night's episode with a lot more details about that plug. Pat, now you tell the people where you're at.
Well, first of all, I want to let you know, I always admit when I'm an idiot. Bobby, you can do what you have to do, but I always admit when I'm a moron. So I can still hear you talking. I had the headphones in. And when you said the Allen Theater spelled in the British way, I started to think about all the ways they spell Allen. and then realized I'm a moron. And I thought I should share that with you. In those 10 to 30 seconds, I'm like, what did they do with the OU? Like, is that in there, like color or something? Like, oh, he means the theater. I'm retarded. So, yes, I wanted to say when I do that, I will always admit my mental illness in that regard. Thursday night, I'm at Comics Roadhouse at Mohegan Sun. 10 p.m. show. Come check that out. Friday, I am at Riverwalk Social. Our show will be outside because it's been really nice out, so we'll have the outdoor patio going on. And then on Saturday, I'll be a guest on Who Are These Podcasts. And then all next week, I will be on 95.9 The Fox again in Fairfield County. So if you live in Connecticut, you can listen from 2 to 7. If not, you can go to their website and stream all that stuff. Please join the Patreon. Get over there. A lot more things are going up on over there. A bunch of our shows are going to be streaming there. The Tuesday night show will be streaming there and going live there. And you'll only get to watch the POS evening show on Tuesdays at 8 from the Patreon. So POS Podcast. If you put patreon.com/POS Podcast or search POS Podcast, that comes up there. So please join that. For those $3, we'd love to have you over there. Oh yeah, Terry, you are close to him. Oh, it's not in your 20-mile bubble. Okay, yeah, so then you don't have to go. What he's basically just saying is don't go to a show that has somebody with a headband and a very ugly girlfriend. Don't go to their shows. Anyway, also, if you can hit subscribe right now, it helps us a ton. The more subscriptions, the better. Watching the episodes helps a ton. We need you to just cruise on through, put it on the background, let it go. We need a couple more hours and we can monetize this thing, and then we can be happy campers. But also hit like. We enjoy that. And most importantly, if you could, let people know you watch the show. When you're watching it in the morning, share it on your social media. I'm watching this. Maybe 1 or 2 more eyes jump on. We grow the community a little more. We love all you guys on here, but it'd be cool to have a lot more people on the show. We got people all the way from Australia. We got people all the way from not outside the Allen Theater bubble. All those locations, and it's great there. Yesterday, I had to go. The place I put a show on Friday once a month in my town in Derby. They had a conflict. They booked a band, and the band is supposed to be on Friday, same time as my show. And I'm kind of like, oh man, we can't move it. I've already sold so many tickets. And they're like, well, we can put it. We have a side room. And so, Bobby, if you're jumping on right now, Bobby, I was just explaining real quickly yesterday. I had to go to one of the places they've put on show on every month because they did a conflict thing and they booked a band the same time as my show. I've already got like 20 something tickets sold, and I'm like, well, I don't want to change my date, and I know you have a band and all. They're like, no, we have this side room. Come check it out. I'm like, okay, cool. There's a side room we can do something. They go, you won't be able to serve any food there. But we can serve drink, whatever. I'm like, that's fine, whatever. As long as we can accommodate people. They do have a nice big backyard patio. Back patio, and I was like, we use that. And they're like, well, it might be too cold. And I'm like, let's go look at it. I get there yesterday. We walk out to the place. We go next door to the next building. It's the room where they have axe throwing. So
yeah, buddy.
It's as narrow as a New York subway. It's long. On the walls. There's all like shelves and stuff. It'd be the most claustrophobic. It looked like where Anne Frank hid. Like it was like that, but no chairs. And
Amsterdam?
Straight chairs. Yes, it looked like Amsterdam. Amsterdam is. I was like, and they like, just do it here. I'm like, I can't put people here. It was like, and then I come all the way down there to do that. They're like, well, what are you going to do that? I'm like, I don't know, outside. And they're like, well, it might be cold. I go, I'd rather that than have people get go into claustrophobia fits or lose their minds or wonder if they can come in and throw an axe at us as we stand in front of the thing. So, but the show will be outside on Friday. So,
Hell
do you
yeah,
have
man.
another story, sir? Yeah, and here you are, a proud supporter on Patreon. We appreciate you. I see you on there, man. Thank you. A lot of you guys are on there. We appreciate you.
I do have another story, believe it or not, Pat.
Yeah, I got some stuff to
Did you watch
cruising through
the WNBA draft?
I was doing something when that happened, but I'm very up to date on what happened and watched a lot of clips. So yes, I'm aware. I get to watch it live.
Okay, well, this news story is less about that, more about the fact that my dad called me yesterday, and despite me being like, hey, I'm kind of busy, you got to do stuff, felt the need to tell me all the individual details about, you heard it correctly, the WNBA draft. He was like, did you go? It was in Brooklyn. And I was like, no, I didn't. I can't believe anybody did. And then he was like, this is the first time they sold tickets, and it was sold out.
Yeah.
Who
And people are
goes to
mad.
see
People are
the WNBA draft? For fuck's sakes. Stop pretending. Yes, I agree, Harry. Stop pretending we care about women's basketball. Yeah, I know we talk about Caitlin Clark all the time, but she's cool. The draft is
I'm
not.
sorry.
No
I just gotta
drafts.
write down your dad is gay. Sorry, bro. That's the title of the show.
But much as we predicted, the African American superstar went to the Los Angeles Sparks. Who could have seen that one coming? And then
Dude, the Sparks cleaned up. The Sparks got the second and fourth pick somehow in the trade, and then just built this monster program in like 2 seconds.
Our girl Caitlin Clark couldn't go to Boston. That would be too on the nose. So where'd they send this bitch? Indiana, where Larry Bird grew up. They're trying so fucking hard to make this happen. It's not gonna work. Pat, who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it the WNBA for making us seem like we care? Is it anyone who bought tickets in Brooklyn? Is it people who live in Indiana? We'll kick it to you.
First of all, it's not the WNBA because you know what? They're not wrong. This is the first WNBA draft ever that I actually at one point thought, oh, I wonder if anyone from UConn got picked because of the Caitlin Clark talk and all this stuff. I went and that night, searched to see who got drafted and what teams they went to, and that's the first time I've ever paid attention to the WNBA draft ever. I also looked to see online because I knew what they were going to do. People have this thing already. For her, Caitlin Clark being the most beloved college athlete, it's already becoming like, it's going to be the thing to hate her. She's got, unless you're an Indiana fan, everyone, like you called it out a couple weeks before it happened. You were saying that we need some people to start talking shit. And then Diana Taurasi came out right away and it did that. They asked her about, is she going to come to the NBA and going to be good? And Taurasi said flat out, she goes, she's going to be playing with women now. She can grow up with this thing. She's going to get her butt kicked. I can't wait to play against her. And then a woman that used to play for UConn, they asked her, they said, do you think she needs a championship to be a legend? So, absolutely. She's not a legend. She never won anything. She just played on a team where they let her shoot all day. And so people are already like talking mad shit, and that's going to build it up. When you're in, it's going to be like old school, like the old school Pistons, and they're not in the garden where they're like the bad boys and hitting people. But like if you were a Detroit fan, you loved Bill Laimbeer. But if you weren't a Detroit fan, you were anybody else, fuck Bill Laimbeer, and that made you want to watch. Like with the Knicks when they played them, I would get so mad at Laimbeer. Like this guy was like elbowing me and beating him and Rick Mahorn and John Sally just beating thugs. You're like, fuck them, but you secretly were like, I wish they were on my team. I would love those motherfuckers on my team, and that's going to be. The WNBA has gotten people to get into that. What it is the people that can't stop hating on this girl and what she's doing for this. They're just like, fuck this. Everyone's watching. Your dad's right. Did you watch it? It's an event, dude. I'm not saying that you should have gone, and I'm not saying your dad's not gay. But what I am saying is that he is right. It's like, did you go to this event? The first time ever the WNBA gave a fuck about anything.
She's gonna make less than a dental hygienist. We went to go decide who would be the highest paid dental hygienist for a year.
But what does that have to do? Yeah, she's not going to make the greatest money, and it's not the greatest league, whatever. But that has nothing to do with the fact that people give a shit. It's the same thing with the first story where Sydney Sweeney, where that lady's like, I don't get it. I fucking get it. I get the Caitlin Clark thing. People are like, all we've been doing for the last couple of years is people saying, hey, white males and males in general have not been letting other people in, gays, women, whatever, all people of race, all that stuff, letting them have spotlight. So we're like, groups have been forcing people into the spotlight, saying, this matters, that matters, all this stuff, but not just to have it naturally happen. This girl who became a woman in college, was this great player and took the country by storm. And people naturally went into it to the point where now they're like thinking about professional basketball. On the day where they were setting up the play-in games for the NBA, people were more focused on the WNBA, and they were involved in what was going to happen there. By the way, awesome that Steph Curry's out. Fuck you. The Kings won last night and blew the shit out of them, but they're going to get beat by the Pelicans, but whatever. But the fact that this woman did that. And then people, what was the thing at the draft? All the videos were just split shots of every time someone got drafted, and they would show Caitlin Clark's face to see if she cared or not, and then shit on her. When her teammate from Iowa got drafted like 8th, they showed her face and go, I guess she's not too happy for her. She's probably mad she got to go to a better team. It's like, what's she supposed to do? Cheer? She knows her friend's going to, get drafted. Someone did write an article saying that woman went there to support Caitlin Clark and surprisingly got drafted. Like, okay, you've never written a sports article and you're retarded. That's not what happened. She wouldn't be there in a suit, sitting in the front row with cameras on her if she didn't think she's going to get drafted. And she didn't get drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round. She got picked 8th. So, obviously she was going to get picked. So the piece of shit is all these people that are just hating on what's happening here. Let it go. It's naturally doing its thing. Everything else. When World Cups, when Major League Soccer tried to build their thing with the New York team back in the late 90s, because of the success of the popularity of the World Cup, when Alexi Lamas and people like that with the red hair and all these famous people are on ESPN for the first time and building it, it was naturally happening. Now it did fail. After a while, we didn't care. But this is naturally happening, and this is great. So I think we should all freaking support it. I'm not going to lie. I was already thinking about going to a Connecticut Sun game next year when she goes. When she goes, I'm going to go to Connecticut Sun and watch her play against them. Why wouldn't I? I'm at the casino all the time. She's a huge star. Why wouldn't I try to go see a game?
Did you want to, is that a rhetorical?
You can retort. No, you can answer it.
Because they could all, none of them can dunk. You could go watch a high school men's basketball game and watch some dunks. Watch significantly better athletes play the game the way it was meant to be played. Nobody kicking their hips out and flop shot in threes.
But I don't compare the women's game to the men's game. The women's game is the women's game.
It's the same
She's
sport.
the best at the women's game. No, it's a different sport.
Yeah. She's significantly worse than any male who plays professional basketball, though.
But I'm not comparing her to that. We're significantly worse than any other podcasters, but people should still watch us.
And that's not true. That's simply not true. There are a lot of worse shows people could be watching right now.
And there's a lot of worse things than the WNBA. We could just be
ranting, reading the comments, and being like, I'm grateful.
There's a lot of worse things than the WNBA.
That's true. I'm just saying, for me, the piece of shit in this story is the team that drafted Caitlin Clark's teammate.
Yeah.
That's a fair point too, Terry. They also drafted
ruined it. It enhanced it.
They also drafted some chick who tore
That's a
ACL.
fair point, V. No, now we got 2 titles for the show.
Yeah. But they also drafted some girl who tore her ACL, and they made it seem like they're just nice people, and it's like, no, they're planning to win again. They won the championship last year.
So who's a piece of shit?
The WNBA, for the uniforms they wear. If they were out there in bras, more people would watch. Like that football league.
It's not sexual. It's sports.
Exactly. That's the problem.
I don't want sex in my sports.
I want sex in my women's sports. Like when they wrestle and the loser has to get fucked by the winner. That's my favorite.
No, is that a thing?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that sport at all. I would hate playing that.
The best.
I'd play to win, though. I would play to win.
Fucking watch out for Dragon Lily. That bitch can wrestle.
Oh, no. Dragging these nuts. That's what that is. By the way, just because I need to know, because I was very excited about it, and just be honest with me if you could. Was the Bible story not true? Was that your made-up one?
That was my made-up one, yeah.
God damn it.
I'm so sorry, dude.
I was so excited, and I'm thinking about it, like, there's no way that's true. That's the greatest thing ever. I wanted to look up this guy. I wanted to start quoting him, and I'm like, fuck. There are some attractive women in all sports, but that's not what I'm talking about. I can watch women's golf like I watch men's golf. I don't compare it because they hit from different places. It's a different game with different skill sets. I know it's golf, but at the same time, they approach it and play it differently. You're not going to be driving the same way and doing stuff. Same thing with the WNBA. They approach it and play it differently, but it's still a sport that's fun watching when someone's at the best level at it. And there's some great players.
I kind of see what you're saying. It's kind of like when you watch the Special Olympics and you're like, oh, This reminds me of the sport I love, but look at these severely retarded people
That is
playing.
not that's not what I was saying in any way, shape, or form. In the words of the great David Tell, those titties aren't retarded, so it's fine. It's like
That's my point.
but no, I'm excited. I'm telling you, I'll go watch again. And I don't think UConn ruined my perspective. Yes, we are for a tiny little state. We are very rich in basketball, men's and women's. And UConn is a tremendous program, and it makes you pay attention to it more. But I would watch this girl because this is a once in a lifetime thing. I never got to see Michael Jordan in person. I never got to watch him play live. That would have been really fucking cool to see that. I got to see some baseball players like Albert Pujols and Mark McGwire when they were like smashing home runs on the same team. I got to watch them both hit home runs and see the size. I was sitting in the third row of a game in St. Louis and the monstrous size of these people and the way they were hitting the ball. And you're like, wow, this is something that is a once in a lifetime thing to watch this kind of athlete. And Caitlin Clark, when it comes to women's basketball, is a once in a lifetime athlete.
So you watch Caitlin Clark and you go, that's amazing. And then in the same breath, you go, thank God Steph Curry's out, even though he's just the male version of her and better at it.
No. I'm just happy they're out because I just don't like Golden State. I was just shitting on Steph Curry. I'm excited that the Kings, I love the Fox and guys. That team's fun. Now, I don't think they have a chance to win it, but they are the kind of team that could fuck with the Pelicans or something. I don't think that the Golden State Warriors could have done anything this year, and the West is too stacked. You know what I mean? And I also want teams to be weak, so when Brunson comes in and finally brings the Knicks a championship, we're sneaking in. Just by playing the most selfish ball of all times.
Okay. I don't know if you've seen my Instagram story, but there's one guy who's going to put a stop to that plan real fucking quick, Oates.
Well, they got to win tonight first.
Yeah. It's Jimmy
They're not even in
bucket
yet,
season.
They're not even in yet.
The play-in tournament is so gay.
Really not.
We have 82. We have 82 games. We can't decide who the top 8 teams in a conference are. Let's just make it a whole tournament at the end of the season then. We'll do the first couple of rounds like March Madness.
No, but Bobby, I think it's the opposite, to be honest with you. I think I hated when just an 8th seed got in. You could have 40 wins and 44 losses, 42 losses, and you could just be in. When you're 8th, you have to now prove, hey, we'll let you in, but you got to prove it. You got to beat. You got to beat 9, and then we'll let 10 in. We'll let 7 in too. Even though all the failing teams right there, prove yourself to get in. Play one more game and prove you get to go. Because the other teams did play during the season, didn't take it off. Like some people feel like Miami. Any team with Jimmy Butler does that because Jimmy Butler just goes, "Call me in the playoffs. I'm the shit." And I'm going to do my thing. Not that he's really doing that, but like that's how those teams kind of think. They sit back and they find a fall into a position and then go, oh, we're 8th and we're 7th now, and we know we can beat this team and not this team. Now you got to fucking win one game. You don't have the best of 7 series. You got to win one fucking game. And Steph Curry and those guys probably thought on the Golden State laurels they could roll in, and a young, hungry Sacramento team's like, fuck, this is awesome. We get a chance to say fuck you. So I like it more. It makes you give a fuck about. Now you want to watch that team that did playoff, the one win, go play with the number 1 seed. With the NBA, it's way different than college with seeds because they're all professional players and anyone can get a hot team. Any team can play the right matchup and fucking win. So it's not surprising as much when a 7 seed beats a 2 or some shit like that. But no, I like that playoff thing.
I just can't root for the Kings ever again. I rooted for them during the Donaghy era.
And you can't now?
No, it hurts too much. I got done with that game and went, the ref cheated. And my dad went, no, that's just how the way the game's played. And I went, no, they cheated. And he went, no, refs don't cheat. And then 5 years later, it came out that he was, in fact, throwing the game for the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah. Fucking
so much cheating.
Fuck. Mike Bibby, Peja Stojakovic, Chris Webber. What more do you want out of a fucking team?
Vlade Divas. I
didn't bring him up on purpose.
I know, but I loved me some Vlade, but he just could not win the game. But anyway, ready to move on?
No, clearly, since I'm still stuck on an NBA Western Conference Finals from 2004.
Olivia Williams recalls alarming guest appearance on Friends. Quote, "You're not funny." It was not a friendly encounter. British British actress Olivia Williams recently recalled a harrowing and alarming experience she allegedly had while appearing on the iconic TV show Friends. And I like this because usually you don't hear any shit talk about Friends. So that's why this caught my attention. And usually you don't hear actresses talking shit about shows. Not, I know the show's over, so it doesn't really matter much anymore, but usually with something so beloved, you don't really hear that unless something really terrible happened and something that
True.
first. But I think with the success of the documentary of Nickelodeon, and I'm not saying anything was treated badly at Friends like that. I think some people are like, oh, I get attention if I talk shit about stuff that happened to me. I don't have to just kiss ass when I'm in Hollywood anymore. But I think some people are leaning it the wrong way because even before I start reading all this, when you see an actress does that, and you're someone making movies and doing casting, you're like, she's a problem. Do I cast a problem? Do I need someone who's gonna fucking run their mouth, or someone who's just gonna fucking be there and work with us together? I don't want to. I have a director or a producer that's sensitive. We don't need this person being lippy. We already got enough divas and shit like that. Do we need some lady no one really knows to do this shit? She's like, well, an example. I was taken to her saying this. I was taken to the studio in a shared car with a wonderful actress whose character I think was called Old Woman. Which, by the way, great name work. Just to say to a woman, you're an old ass woman. You're playing an old woman. Fuck you, old woman. According to the Crown alum, I guess that's what Olivia Williams is in, the Crown. The actress whose name Williams cannot remember quickly found herself in hot water with one of its show's producers. At one point, a producer who shall remain nameless just yelled at this woman, "You're not funny." Which is awesome. It's awesome that they were acting. She's playing, she doesn't even get a name in this. She's just old woman. And this guy goes, "Cut. You suck."
That's amazing.
You do not suck. You stink on ice. And she didn't come back the next day. The old woman. Williams, who played she was a bridesmaid in the episode called The One with Ross's Wedding, I don't know, said that the woman's disappearance from the sitcom set was alarming. Oh, the Sixth Sense actress continued. And Friends was by the way, it's the Sixth Sense actress. She was the wife. No one remembers the fucking wife. When you think about the Sixth Sense, if I say that you think about the wife right now, you're like, I think she had black hair. You know what I mean? No one remembers the fucking wife in goddamn Sixth Sense. And Friends was a brand, and you had to fit the brand. So you had to go into hair and makeup, and you're told, there's a look here. This is what we do. And that involved plucking off all your eyebrows. And I guess Olivia Williams was like, please, don't take off my eyebrows. I might need them for another job. Maybe I have a lot more work if I shut up more. She at least admits to that. I might actually be on some socialist actor blacklist. I don't know. The Post reached out to NBC and Warner Brothers for comment. Comment on what? Did they one time told an old lady she wasn't funny? Yeah, we probably did that. That was fucking 20-something years ago. In the episode, which aired in May, the episode
graduation paper.
It aired in 1988. It was like, it was just about them traveling to England, and then this lady, I guess, played the crazy flirt, whatever. And at the end, it goes, by the way, all 10 seasons of Friends are on Hulu, Max, and Amazon Prime. Who gives a shit? Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Olivia Williams for coming out and saying something? Now, in the first account of the two stories she told, it sounds like kind of horseshitty because she won't say the woman's name. She doesn't remember her name after that at one point. She's kind of like, this was kind of said. To me, that kind of feels like this wasn't about an old woman. This was somebody yelling this at Olivia Williams. We kind of go like, oh, it was some other actress I shared the car with. She's the one saying they were mean. I know. But in reality, this feels like that. And then they probably were like, people are saying to her, this just sounds like you're complaining. And it sounds like you made it up. Do you have anything else? She goes, well, one time they wanted to pluck my eyebrows to make me look like a character in a show, one that's paying me tons of money, and as an actress, we all change our looks and do whatever, actors and actresses. I can't believe they're going to like have hair and makeup. They're not going to make her look weird. They're just going to like trim it down because the eyebrows are crazy looking and I fucking get it. Is it her for being the piece of shit there? Is it the producer who yelled out, "You're not funny" to an old lady? he's making a sitcom. It's the season finale. It's the finale thing with the wedding and everything like that. It's a super popular sitcom. They've got to make sure shit's funny. They've got to make sure everyone's doing their brand. Now, you might not, once again, we talked about it before, maybe you're not a Friends fan, but you do get why people liked it, right? I mean, we all get why people liked it. Attractive people trying to live life like us regular uglies, you know what I mean? So you got to fit that brand so people want to stay on board and keep watching the thing all the time. So is it that producer for doing it? Is it the old lady? Maybe the old lady should come out and be like, hey, you know what? I didn't mind. I still got paid that day. I wasn't that funny. That inspired me to work hard. I put my head down, fucking put in the extra elbow grease, and now today I play young ladies. I don't play old ladies anymore. That's not me at all. Or is it anyone that watches this, reads this article, and then goes, I got to go watch that episode to see if I notice the old lady not being funny? Who's a piece of shit in this story? Bobby, go ahead.
Well, it's not the old lady for not coming out to defend Miss. What's this
She's
bitch's
probably
name?
dead anyway.
That's what I was about to say.
They
She's
wouldn't
dead.
give her name.
She's been dead for no, the other bitch.
Oh, Olivia
The
Williams.
complainy. Oh yeah, Olivia. Like, of course, the old woman's been dead for a decade. If it's truly abuse TL, you're not funny. My mom abuses me every time we talk on the phone. When she's like, "Are you gonna stick with comedy?" and I go, "Yeah," and she goes, "But you're not funny." So got to move on from that. I like to think that Olivia and this old woman are the same. Like, we got a Fight Club situation going on where she is the old woman, but she doesn't realize she was the old woman. And okay, if you were an up and coming actor, Pat,
Yep.
you would be willing to do pretty much whatever it took to break into Hollywood, right? Like, whether it's selling your mom's dead clothes, that'd be fun.
Oh, I'm agreeing. I'm this
Yeah,
person.
yeah,
You're
no,
hitting
like,
home.
yeah. Like, you do what it takes until you're in the position where you get to tell people what it takes. Sometimes you're a comedian at a comedy club, and the owner of the comedy club's there, and you start pairing off with the girls, and you think you're gonna end up with the way too tall but definitely okay redhead, and then the pairings happen, and you're with the fat chick, and you're like, how bad do I want to perform at this comedy club again? Because you know the pussy's gonna smell like hot garbage.
Oh no, garbage. That's hot.
Right, so you had to pluck your eyebrows, get them tattooed, then you could be Rosie Perez and White Men Can't Jump. Like, it's all good. Figure out, make it work, or years later you're going to be writing stories calling the actors in Hollywood socialists, which I'm not saying they aren't, but, like, I don't think that's why you're not working. Like, you nailed it. No one's going, damn, what about the mom from Sixth Sense?
Yeah, no one gives a fuck about that lady at all. We remember Donnie Wahlberg from the very beginning for being the one who shot before we remember the lady.
Yeah, Donnie, that was the start of his career.
So the piece of shit is who?
It's Olivia. Yeah, you signed up for something. It's like, you can't walk. I'm not saying you can't walk away from something you said you wanted to do if it gets bad enough, but you need to draw your line in the sand. And apparently, my line would have been a lot further down the sand.
Yeah. She's kind of a piece of shit, but I don't think she's really the piece of shit. But she is in the sense of, like, okay, this would be different if she was hired for a season. Like, remember when Tom Selleck was on that show for a while? He was like dating Courtney Cox's character, and he had to be on there for on and off, like, probably 12 to 15 episodes. He'd been there enough times after like the fourth or fifth time to probably go like, hey, it's a little weird that on their set they do this and this compared to other sets I've been on. I mean, shit, he was Tom Selleck. He was on Magnum PI for a long time. He understands sets, not a sitcom thing, but at the same time, he's worked a lot of places and he has some kind of opinion. I'm not saying she didn't work places and didn't have a job. What I'm saying is she was there for one episode. And she went in right away and is like, I don't like this, I don't like that. You don't even know where you are. It's like going to someone's house and right away just judging everything instead of getting to know the people in the house. You're just coming as an outsider, not understanding it. Especially people that invite you and then are paying you. Maybe shut your mouth.
It's the season finale. So everybody on that staff knows that this is like one of the more important episodes. It's going to be the last taste you leave in somebody's mouth before they decide whether or not they're renewing your show. If I recall, this wedding episode was a pretty big one. I think it still gets referenced a decent amount, right? Like, they still, like, isn't that the one where he says the wrong name or whatever? Like, This is a big episode, and now you're making it about you, which I guess is kind of as it might have been V or Harry pointed out, or Terry had pointed out, maybe even Harry. That's what women do. They make it about them. They don't realize the bigger thing going on here. You know.
Yeah, it was
I
Harry
so
areas. Yeah, but
yeah
I think but in reality, the piece of shit is anyone who has now made it so all women feel like they have to do shit to their eyebrows. I never gave a fuck about eyebrows. When I was growing up, I didn't notice eyebrows. The only eyebrows I ever noticed were Brooke Shields, or there was that other, what was her, Hemingway. Was it Margaret?
Ernest.
No, not Ernest, but Ernest. I think she was related, but she was like a famous actress too. They had big fucking like Muppet like fucking caterpillar eyebrows, and I was like, oh, that's a lot of eyebrow. Now, so I get that if you want to thread that or something, I understand. But nowadays, when every person in the world has like a drawn-on thing, and then people are like, oh, you look so hot with like marker on your face, it looks fucking crazy. We need
Yeah.
eyebrows. It stops the sweat from going through your stupid eyes. Why are we fucking with that? There should be no job about doing that. Okay, threading it, cleaning them up is one thing, but the fucking rip them off and draw and shit, that's nuts. We evolved wrong. If we're fucking etch a sketching our dumb heads, fucking just keep your
Yeah.
eyebrows. If someone's not
We
gonna fuck
can't.
you because of your eyebrows, fuck off.
We can't even get bitches to shave their cunts, but we got to get them to shave their eyebrows. I gotta go walk.
Don't say
I gotta go
we,
weave.
'cause
I gotta go weave through the fucking enchanted forest to find the clitoris. But we got bitches out here with tattoos on their. Come on, let's shave the right hair first, then we can worry about the other hair.
I don't know if that's a we statement. We can't get. I'm not trying to get anyone to do anything. I'm just saying it's weird that we normalized it.
I'm fucking Harry Potter out here walking through the forbidden forest zone.
More like
You're worried
Harry
about
Potter.
eyebrows?
Boom. All right, you got anything else today, sir?
No, those were my two big stories: the NBA,
Yeah,
WNBA.
I had one more, but it's kind of goofy. So I think we end on a wonderful welcome back, Bobby, to the Wednesday mornings. We missed you, so it's nice
I
to
missed
have
you guys
back.
too. I know Pat said it
appreciate being
on last night's episode, but to everybody who stepped up and helped Pat out while I was gone, and Pat, thank you guys for stepping on up and carrying the torch and still having a show for me to come back to here. You know,
Yeah,
I didn't want to
like
end
I
up
said last
April
night,
from Steel Toe.
Right now. But if anyone did miss last night's show, it's over on the Patreon, our POS show. Thank you to everybody. All the guys are in the chat now. You guys made Friday and Monday way easier with Bobby being gone and just being able to chat with you guys and just sitting here talking to the camera. I'm not talking to the camera. I feel like I was talking to you guys. So I appreciate your guys' support and everything like that. So for those of you who aren't in the Patreon yet, jump on over to there. For those of you who are in the chat and can't do that stuff, I know I asked like, hey, sign up for this, whatever. Dude, we just love the fact that anyone's sitting here chatting with us and having a good time. So we love the mornings with you guys too. So if you can't donate money, we ain't mad at that. We get it, man. I'm broke as fuck, but we appreciate all the stuff that you guys do. But if you could hit subscribe and like on all the episodes you watch, you can share the episodes at least, or just let people know, hey, I watch POS in the mornings. You should too. That's helps us more than fucking anything else. Bobby, you got anything else?
No, I hit my plugs earlier. Make sure you check out the Patreon. And if you want to see me, Andrew, Mike, I think Manny's doing a show. It's not technically the 717, but, you know, any of the good comedy shows this weekend, make sure you check those out in the 717 area.
Careful, Bobby. You sound like a little boy in the woods. Oh, the vagina with the
Enchanted.
hair. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, nice.
I was like, wait, what wood's my end? Van Helsing.
Yes. All right. So got to V, to Terry, to Dominic, to everybody that was jumping into
Harry,
Kish,
Kish,
a little
Kish.
bit. Harry, of course, everybody that was in there. Hey, in the chat, thanks for those of you not in the chat, just watching. We appreciate you as always. We'll see you on Friday morning at 8 a.m. And Bobby.
Normally I say an inspirational quote, but here's a bit of a warning. Don't eat Chipotle right before you go to bed if you have to be up at 8 to do POS in the morning. Because then you go squeeze out your poo real quick during the break, and it's not good. There's still a bunch of poo left. And don't
gross.
be that poo, which would be considered a piece of shit.
Ugh.